Hi everyone, hope you're all well. So we're going to dive straight into studio today, and we've not got much to tell you. We're just going to have a lovely hour or so with our crafty products. So in today's studio we are going to use the fabulous swing, which is called the Smile stamp set, which is this fabulous one here. I'm just going to quickly show you. This is the one we are using today in studio. This will be the third session using this fabulous and most gorgeous stamp ever. Next week's stamp is this one. So you can see here. So if you have got your stamp, you are good to go. I'll just show you the back of that one. So you can see we've got lots of inspiration using this one. I'll just show you the back of the swing stamp so you can see. There we go. And then last week's was the fabulous trees, which is this one. So if you do want to go back and check out the inspiration and craft along, you can do that. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, my name is Tony Darroch and I'm a guest presenter over on Create and Craft. And this channel is here to inspire you lovely ladies and gents at home. If you are tuning in for the first time, that is amazing. Welcome to the fabulous Stamps by Me family. We have a lovely group of people who tune in every single day to either craft along or get the inspiration they need. You do not have to have our products to craft along with us at all. You might get the inspiration by just seeing one little technique, taking it with you, twisting it and turning it into whatever you like. So welcome everyone. Tracy, Pat, Annette, Viv, Sue. We've got some new faces. Hi Helen, Shirley, Kathleen. I hope you're all well. What a beautiful day today, hey? Just been out to take the dog for a little walk just before live studio, and I couldn't believe how warm it is. It's so warm. Tom had a right sweat on when we got back. So we're going to dive straight in. Hi Karen, hi Linda. We're going to dive straight in, and as we do our inspiration, I'm just going to tell you a few updates that are going to let you know what's happening over at Stamps by Me headquarters, should we call it. So in today's studio we are going to use the fabulous swing. I'm just going to grab mine now. If you are crafting along, I'll tell you what you're going to need. Have you got your cup of tea or your cup of coffee? I've got Mr. Cool today. I think I've given my other half the wrong cup. But anyway, it's still a hot drink, so it's still fabulous. So I'm going to grab my trusted Eureka too, because it is about the stamping. And what we're going to need today is let's grab the piece of white cardstock first of all. So I'm going to have a piece of white cardstock to start off with. So if you are crafting along, you're going to need a piece approximately, now we always cut things down and adjust things, but if you can go roughly around what I'm using, it helps. So I've got a size piece of card 16 tall, 16 centimeters tall and 10 wide. Is that okay? 16 by 10. And what we're going to do is we're just going to pop this into our fabulous Eureka, and we're going to stamp in some different coloured inks today. So you will have seen over the course of the last 2 days how we've made some amazing cards. So you will have seen us make this beautiful background one here with the splashes on them. Sorry, I've got a terrible itch. And then we did yesterday the artist card, and we did the beautiful sparkly swing. And it's been lovely to see you make, so they're absolutely fabulous. So pretty. And it's nice to see some of you have chopped up the colours as well and used them in a different fashion, which is really good. And then what's going to happen after today, because it's the last one using this one today, this one will move down to this side here, and then these ones will move down, and on Monday we will launch the brand new stamp in the Academy, and that is week 5. Week 5. Wow, it's going so fast. We need to think of a backup plan for when this is over, don't we? So it's week 5, and I'll launch it on Monday. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for that one, because you never know which one's coming. Have a guess at which one you think is coming next. So I'm just going to grab my trusted stamp. And what we're going to tray size is this piece of cardstock here. And what we're going to do is we're not going to capture all of the image. I'm going to show you some ways in which we can maybe chop up a design rather than use it as a sterile entity, and maybe highlight some of the pretty parts, a bit similar to when we did our focal point on our vase on the set of stairs. Take it step by step. So I'm just going to pop this right up to the top of my card, so it's catching the top of the trees. And then I've got the swing on the left here. Can we see how it's, and then I've got this little space here, and this little space will be apparent as soon as we move on to the next stage. So let's pick up this lovely stamp. And I'm going to stamp out today in this beautiful colour. It's a Distress Oxide and it's faded jeans. So I would probably suggest, if you've got a blue coloured ink pad, any ink pad, so if you haven't got this one, maybe you've got one of your Distress ink blues or a grey, whatever colour you want. I'm just using blue because it's going to be in keeping with the colour of my card. So I'm going with blue today, but I know that when you at home do them again, you'll chop up the colours and show us what fabulous work you've all been doing. So let's just have a look. More scenic stamps, please. Ooh, super exciting. Another Academy. Ooh, I'm not sure about that one. Has everybody enjoyed it? Has anybody got more out of the Craft Academy than they expected to? Please let me know. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up this stamp and the swing all the way around. Lots of light taps. You can see it there sitting on the top of my stamp. So if you've got a pink ink pad, you can do pink, purple. I'm just going for this muted blue because I've got a piece of blue cardstock it's going to fit perfectly with. So loved it, trying new things. Yep, loving it. Christmas Academy. What a great idea. Christmas Academy, who's done that? Maxine, right. What a great idea, Maxine, a Christmas Academy. Leave that one with me, that might happen. We've got time to do that, so we'll see what happens. 12 days of Christmas. It's all coming now, isn't it? So let's stamp this one out. Oh, that's very kind. Karen says that she's been crafting for 25 years and she's learnt loads. I'm so pleased. So pleased. I'm learning as well though. So there we can see our beautiful stamp there in the swing. What I am going to do is I am going to continue. I didn't realise I'd missed that part there. So I'm just going to carry on right to the very end of that stamp. I don't want it to just end like a blunt line because it's not easy on the eye. And there you have your beautiful swing stamp. So let's just take this out of our Eureka and we're just going to set this one aside, okay? We'll just let that dry naturally. So next I have another piece of card here and I'll tell you this measurement, so if you do want to cut it up while I'm talking. So this one is 10 centimetres tall. By 4.5, between 4.5 and 5. So 10 and 4.5. And we're going to place this just into my Eureka here and I'm just going to capture the swing. Now we're not going to do the spotlight technique that we did with the vase. We're going to do something different with it, but I do want to capture the swing on this piece of white cardstock. Now to prevent any mess, I'm just going to clean the stamp off and basically start from scratch. So it'll give you the opportunity to cut your card too if you're wanting to craft along. A great tip as well, and it's one that was probably highlighted more than any yesterday, is if you do clean your stamp like that, pop a piece of card on top and just burnish it. And that way you know that your artwork, when you come to stamp again, is going to be absolutely clean. Because look, see that there? That would have transferred onto there. So it's just a little bit of a technique. Just grab a piece of scrap card or an offcut or a piece of work that you don't like and just clean off that stamp properly. Shirley Ramsey. Yes, Tony, I've learnt so much about stamping. To be fair, Shirley, you are a fantastic crafter. I've seen your work. You've been crafting for a long time. Shirley's work is amazing. Saved a disaster, that's right. So unless you get it on your fingers and you have mucky paws like me, which is normally what happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and capture the swing on this piece of white card. I'm not bothered about anything else, but I am going to try and get that swing on there. And then that little piece of white there, I'm just going to try and hold that in place with my magnet, like so. So let's pick up that stamp, and what we're going to do is we're just going to ink the swing. It actually doesn't matter if I ink anything else, because any detail that falls onto the card, it really doesn't matter. But I definitely would want my swing. I want my swing. Yeah, that's a good idea. A summer academy, working through existing stamps. We do that anyway. So I know in lockdown we've been doing craft academy every day, but generally in studio that's what we do. So, but we could absolutely do something. Yeah, of course we could. But we do the studios using lots and lots of products, don't we? So there we have the fabulous swing. So it's just captured it there on that piece of white cardstock. So let's move this out of the way, just for now. Shirley would be able to tell you an absolutely corker of a story about me trying to learn how to die cut. I'm sure she'll tell you at some point. When she's got time, Shirley, type a little story over on the Eureka fan page about the first time we met and how I couldn't grasp die cutting. She will tell you it's a good story. It's a funny story, if nothing else. So let's just pull these two into play here. So these are what we're working on. So because we've used the fabulous oxide inks, you can colour with them as well. I'm not going to add any colour. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull some of the colour out on the swing there. So all I've got here is a brush with clean, clear water, and I'm not trying to bring other colours in. This is going to be quite a muted card, but I am going to blend out that colour slightly just to soften those lines. So clean, clear water just in one of your cups, tea saucers. Can't spit my words out now. So I'm just going to pounce into this lovely tree up here too, just to soften those harsh lines. I'm going to colour that branch. So basically we're working on tone. No, if you want to add more colour, you could obviously turn your ink pad onto your mat and pick some of the colour up and then paint it in, but I'm just softening my lines here. I'm not trying to have like light and shade. I'm just pushing those harsh lines back a little bit just to soften the picture. And this looks great in your vintage colours as well. But today I wanted to completely step out of the box and use a colour that we don't always use. And I absolutely love using my blues. So I'm happy with that one. Let's just bring in this one. Just highlight those flowers. Make sure my swing's nice and coloured. So basically I'm just softening all of those lines. There we go. So that's super easy, isn't it? So I'm just going to dry that with my gun, just make sure we don't get any mucky paws. Yeah, so just a reminder, as soon as staff are able, we will be doing step-by-step instructions for all of our studios, all the Craft Academy studios. So for those people that do like to go back and read step-by-step how to do something, they will be downloadable on our website. And as soon as they go live, I will let you all know, because I do appreciate some people like to do step-by-step that way. Some are visual learners, some are not. So it all helps, doesn't it? Don't forget to drink your tea. Right, so I have a piece of black card, a matten layer, which I've already gone ahead and cut. So I'll give you the opportunity, if you are crafting along, to get those cut whilst I grab the pieces I need. So it's just a black matten layer with a little border, nothing fancy. So what else do I have to tell you about? Let me just grab my tape. Oh, there, my tape pen, and here's my glue. What else do I have to tell you about? So tomorrow I am on Create and Craft with the sale show. So there'll be some nice prices again in there for you from some of our earlier products. We also have the 2 gowns in there as well. Hopefully they'll be a great price for you. And it's 9:45 in the morning. So for 45 minutes, obviously. So I'll try and get in as many demos as I'm allowed. And then I'll be back on the road. And then Saturday, we're going to do something different. We're going to revisit some of our older things that you'll all have in your stash. So Saturday we'll do something different. Sunday, I will not be here Sunday. It's a bank holiday weekend and I would like to spend some time with my son. He's looking at me now all funny. So Sunday I won't be here, but I'll be back in studio on Monday launching the 5th stamp in the Academy. It's going to be a beautiful weekend, so if you're not sat in the garden, maybe you can dig some of your stash out and have a play with that one. Joe, I did get your message about the pen and it's been sorted as far as I'm aware. I have tasked it out, and yes, we have sorted the incorrect colour that I sent you. That was my fault. So yes, it's sorted, sweetheart. And that's it so far. So that's obviously hopefully giving you the time to get your matten layers if you are crafting along. So I'm just going to grab this tape pen here. I don't think I've anything else to tell you really. It's quite, we're doing okay at Stamps by Me. It's obviously, we've been on lockdown now for 7 weeks, haven't we, or something like that. And you know, with the help from you guys and in return from us to you, we're doing okay, aren't we? We are doing okay, and we will get through it. It's not the end of the world. We will do as we are told, and we will get through it. So let's pop some tape behind that one. Oh, and for those of you that don't know, what happens is we have a little screen in front of me which reminds me of things I have to remind you lovely ladies and gents about. And Tim does pop messages on there for me every now and then, as you can imagine. And the last message that Tim has just popped on there for me: Tim and Tom can't wait to go fishing. Does that mean I'm going to get some peace? So that's nice. That'll be nice for you both. So I'm just matten layering that onto this black here. So there we have our beautiful, you're probably thinking, where on earth is this going? And I'm going to show you right now. So this is where I just wanted to show you how chopping up a design can look completely different, and using elements of the stamp and using it in different ways. So I have a top folding white note card here. And I have a piece of blue card, because this matches with my stamp here. So whatever colour you've picked, see if you've got a piece of cardstock that's the same. If you haven't got something that's the same, try and pick something that complements the colour you've picked. If you haven't got any coloured cardstock, maybe you've got a grey. Grey complements everything. So it doesn't matter what colour you're working with. If you haven't got a complementary colour, use grey. It will still work, okay? It's easy on the eye, and the undertone is that of such that it works with every single colour in the spectrum. So let's have a look. Okay, so this piece of blue, I'm going to cover the whole piece of this card here, look. So it's the same size as my card, and it's just, so I'm going to make a blue front to my card. So no white border today, something a little bit different. I'm just popping a piece of tape behind here. Just move that out of the way. And hopefully my tape pen will work, or maybe it won't. Just needed some help, did you? Nope. So annoying. So annoying. Do you not sometimes wish somebody would create something that worked? My gosh. Straight in the bin, that one. Let's go back to glue. Our trusted glue, hey? So just going to pop a little piece of glue all the way around here. I'm going to stick this direct onto my card here. So over the last 2 days, we've done various techniques, haven't we? We've done some splatter techniques, we've done some washes, we've done some picking up, we've done some direct watercolouring. Yep, so I'm just being asked about, can I repeat the card size and the paint colour? So the card size that I'm using here is 20 centimetres tall by 14 wide. 20 by 14. The next one with the swing that was stamped in blue, I'm just going, sorry if I'm repeating myself, but people are crafting along. The next one with the swing is 10 by 16. And the baby one that we've just done is 5-ish by 10. And the colour that we've stamped out, if you are joining us late, don't worry, you can always ask these questions, but please don't forget you can always pause me and rewind me, okay? It doesn't affect how you view it or anything like that, you can always do those things. So, and the ink that I stamped it out in is Distress Oxide Faded Jeans, but if you don't have the oxides, I don't have many, I think I only have about 3 or 4, you can use your Distress inks, you can use your Generation inks if you have access to those, so any colour really. I don't know about Janet Paris is asking, did we get the discount come up on the order page? I'm not sure. I'll have to check that one, sweetheart. I'll get Tim to check it after the show for you. May Hume says she's landed a £20 salmon. I love salmon. Tell Tim doesn't believe it. Is that true? Is it true? Did you really? Okay, so let's pop that blue on there. So you can see now we've got a beautiful like blue fronted card there. And blue does look classy, I completely agree. Chapped sapphire, chipped sapphire, that's the one. So let's make this into a card. So how this is going to go together, if you look here, look, so we can see. So this is in my mind how I was going with this. So either up in the corner, and I've highlighted the swing down in this space here. See that there? And this area here is going to be for my stamp. So you can see how chopping the design up, moving things around slightly, how you do get a sort of different feel. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of texture to this card. And I'll show you how in a second. So I'm just going to hold that in place there. Going to grab the smile stamp, and I'm just going to stamp smile over this left hand side underneath here, and I am going to stamp it in black. So my my sentiment pops out. Like so, can we see there? So slightly offset, but it will work when we come to put our other layer on. So just clean that stamp before I touch it. And we'll just set this aside for now. I'm not a gutter. Does anybody else gut? And I don't mean gutting a salmon. I mean a card. Do you gut your cards? I don't gut my cards, unfortunately. It is an awful word, you're very right. So let's think about this design. So I have here some of my trusted like twine, burlap is it? I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's just like a brown cord. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to pop some tape, hopefully, if I can find another tape pen. I'm just trying to find another tape pen, I do apologise. Just one second. Just bringing my trusted trolley here. I do need a tape pen. It would help me immensely if I had a tape pen right now. It's not going to happen. Just 1 second, let me just check my bag. As you can imagine, I have products all over. So I have one here. Yep, our white top folding note cards are due. We're having some coloured ones done as well, which is great. So, you know how I've had to stick that blue piece on the front of there? Would it not be nice to have a beautiful blue top folding note card and a matching envelope? So, they are coming. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a little bit of dimension on this card. So I'm just going to take some of this lovely I'm calling it burlap, whether it be right or not, I'm not quite sure. So I'm just going to pop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap the burlap around the grassed area just to create a little bit of dimension. So I'm just going to pop some tape here, like so. And then I'm just going to wrap this burlap, or twine, we'll call it twine, I think that's probably a better name. And just wrap it so it's not perfect, you know, just wrap it around a few times. And we're just going to create a little bit of texture. Like so, and then I'm just going to turn it over and I'm just going to add a little bit of tape here, press it into that tape, and then I'm going to trim it with my scissors. And then you can play with it, cross them over if you want to, bring them tighter together. It's entirely up to you. Can see that there? And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a few bows. Now I like to do a few bows because this is delicate, but if yours is thick you might not need a few bows, but I just tie a few bows like this in my hand. I am not the best bow maker in the world. Like so, pull the legs in. Can we see that there? It's a bit big actually. Let's just make it a little bit smaller. I like the big legs on my bows. So I'm going to do two. So I've got that one, and then we'll do another one. So you could use ribbon if you haven't got this sort of stuff. Have a look in your stash, have you got a little bit of ribbon or something like that? You see, this is why I'm not a fan of doing bows, because legs always go, like one goes down and one goes up. It's like, do you see that? Look at that. Is that the world's best bow? Have you ever seen a bow as bad as that? Be honest. Let's do it again. I'm going to do it again. This shows you guys I am not good at everything, despite what you all tell me. So there we go. We've got better legs this time. Ooh. So let's trim that one off. So I'm going to just go with two because it's embarrassing trying to do three. So there we go. That honestly is as good as it's going to get. So there we go. I did say I was stepping out my comfort zone. So I've got two, I'm not even going to say pretty bows because they look like they've been through wash. Anyway, we have got two bows with extraordinary legs. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere those with some tape. Now you might have your 3D gel or something like that. I'm just going to do it with my tape. First of all, I'm going to raise this one. So I'm just going to grab some of my pads and I'm going to raise this part of the image first. So pop some pads behind. And I always find that if you pop the pads over your twine as well, it's got that extra added element of keeping it secure, and you know that that twine's not going to come undone. As long as it's not bulky as such, because this is quite fine. I do, that's what I do, Julie. It just, one leg points towards the sky, one points to the floor. So, do we have to talk about that? So I'm being asked about the gutting of a card, and some people are not sure exactly what gutting of a card means. So basically, if I was, let me just show you, if I was to stick this piece onto here, like so, a lot of people like to use the inside of this part here that's hidden. So they get a die and they gut it, they take out an element and save that piece, if that makes sense. And then obviously when you put your card on top, it hides the gut. So you're basically using all the cardstock, but I don't like to gut. I always find if I gut, it sinks in the middle and then the shape comes through that you've cut out. So I don't do it, but a lot of people do it to utilise the cardstock that they absolutely love. So let's just try and make a card out of this one with the dodgy bows. So I'm just going to bring this into the top here, top corner-ish, like so. It does look straight from here, but TV doesn't always show it in its true form. And then the swing part, I'm going to pop over this side. Can we see this here? But I'm only going to pop pads down this side because this side is going to sit flush on here. Okay, so just remember not to pad it all over, or else your image is going to sit on a tilt. So I need some pads down this side. So it's entirely up to you how you want to do it. I'm going to do it bottom corner here, so it's sort of like symmetrical, and then it's easier on the eye. Can we see that there? And then with our pretty bows, she says, I'm just going to add a bit of tape on here now. You can use your 3D gel. Or your wet glue. It will dry clear. And I always like to double bow just to give that dimension. Just separate the legs so you've got. And then I'm just going to finish it with some sparkles. Can we see that? If you've got a pretty button would look quite quaint in the centre of that this part here. So I'm just going to grab some gems now, and I'm just going to, because it's quite a muted card, I'm going to keep it quite muted because I think it looks beautiful just tone on tone like so. If I have any, I'm just going to go with clear. And this is just going to add that little bit of detail, but not take your eye away from the detail in the swing. So I'm just going to pick up some of these clear ones. Now I'm going to pop them in the centres of the flowers on the stamp. Pop some small ones on there too. There is a pretty flower here, so I'm going to pop one in there too. And I am going to repeat that process onto our sort of secondary image too. Do we think we need something in the centre of those bows? I think I'm going to leave them. So let's just show you so you can see head on how it is actually a really nice card. I'm actually really pleased with that, and I really wanted to step out of the box really. Instead of using white and black cards, I'm maybe using a different coloured ink pad. So that's blue. Dusky pink would look fabulous. You know, as well with the dusky pink ones, you could do the sequins around and do the sort of like blossom floating around and things like that, couldn't you? So the smile, which set is a sentiment from? The smile that I've used on here is from the very same set, which is the fabulous Smile Swing. I'll just show you that there, guys, so you can see there. There we go. You can see it across the bottom there, and that works with this stamp too. So there we go. Shall we move on to our second design? Really, really simple, wasn't it, that one? Chop and change the colours, you get a completely different look. Vintage colours, your browns. If you've got some nice brown cardstock, that would look pretty too, even though it's brown. As you know from this one, it started out an ugly mess. Shouldn't really call it an ugly mess, but it started out not particularly nice, and towards the end it was like, oh, that is so pretty. It will look beautiful in grey too, guys. Grey and pink. Grey and pink would look fab. So let's move on to our next card. So this is where we simplify it and completely strip it back. So I have a black top folding note card here, and the size of this one, if you are crafting along, is 14 wide by 18. 14 wide by 18, and it's a black one this time. And then I have a piece of white cardstock. I'll just give you the opportunity to get that black piece if you want to. If you are crafting along, just slow down a little bit. Grey and pink, yep, give it a go, Maxine. Let's have a look at what you do with it. So I'm just going to clean that stamp before I move on to the next stage. Give you a chance to grab a black card or make one, because we are going to use this one next. So in all of the cards, I did notice, and even in the trees and even in the flower ones, I did notice that predominantly we do a lot of colouring. And I know I like to colour, and I know you guys like to colour, but sometimes the image speaks for itself without any colour. So that's what we're going to do next. We're not going to add any colour. I mean, you can add colour after and do your twist and take on it, but I'm just going to strip it back today. So if you need to make a quick card, which this is super quick, you can. And if you do want to add just a highlight of colour, you can. But I just want to show you that not always do you have to fully complete and overload with colour. I absolutely love colour, as you know. Colour goes on everything for me. But sometimes it is nice to try something different. Burgundy, that sounds nice. So, piece of card, you need a piece of white card also, and the piece of white card is 10 inches wide, that'd be too big, 10 centimetres wide and 14 tall, 10 by 5. 14 by 10. So let's pop this into our Eureka. No mucky paws, hopefully. And I'm just going to grab our lovely stamp. And what we're going to do this time, my paws are already getting mucky, I've got blue on them already. What we're going to do this time is we're going to use the lower part of the stamp rather than the top. And we're going to creep it over the bottom. So now we're losing the design across the top. We're going to keep it across the bottom this time. And this is when you start to look at your stamps differently and you use them at different portions of the stamp. So I'm going to stamp this one out in black, remembering that it's only going to go to about there. There we go. So we can see now how we've changed the design already by taking the top part away. So let's just clean this off. Like so. Clean hands, clean those hands. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mat and layer it onto a piece of gold mirror card. So as you can see from the mirror card here, I'll just show you The mirror card is only at the top and the bottom. It's the same on the sides. Can we see that there? It's not a matte layer that goes all the way around. It's just at the top and it's just at the bottom. Can we see that there? And this is sometimes how you can just change the look of your card by not matting and layering all the way around. Left to right is sometimes a good idea and keeping it the same at the top, but I do like this sort of effect. It does give a lovely finish to your card. So let's just glue that onto this mirror card. I'm just going to glue this direct onto this mirror card. I've put loads of glue on there now, so you watch, it's going to spill all over. Just clean my hands. So we have that lovely border across the top and the base there. Can we see that there? Make sure it's as straight as you possibly can get it. I'll just give that a second to grab. And then very similar to our last card, in fact, shall we just make sure it's straight and then I'll pop it under my Eureka. There we go. And then very similar to our last card, we're going to do the tie around, but this time we're going to do it a little bit different. So as you all know, I love the non-dimensional cards. I like them to be quite flat. I don't like them to look like a cake. That's just me and my personal preference. But sometimes if you add texture, i.e. a little bit of twine or some gems or a couple of matte layers that are all flat, you do get texture and dimension without even realising it. So what we're going to do now is, because we've got this lovely white space here, and it is beautiful, and if you've got the courage to leave it, if you are a clean and simple card maker, you could leave it. But what we're going to do is we're just going to do a wrap down the side this time. So I'm just going to put some tape on the back there. I'm just going to grab the twine again. I'm just going to stick it to that piece of there, and then we're just going to wrap around and try and do it a little bit odd so it's not too straight. And then trim it off. You get this sort of effect here, can we see there? Make sure it's just straight, it's still moving around. It's because of all the glue. I put like a litre of glue behind. Like so. So whilst that's gluing and deciding what it's going to do, I'm just going to grab my pads again and I'm just going to 3D this one. And again, I'm going to make sure that that tape is absolutely secured in place. Sorry, not tape, the twine is absolutely secured in place. So I know whoever I give it to, we're not going to have any problems with it coming undone. Like so. So an alternative way of doing the bow then is, if you just cut some of the twine off of your stash, you can actually feed it through like so. So if you're thinking I don't want to glue it because it's going to go everywhere, then maybe try this technique. Well, it isn't really a technique, is it? It's just an alternative way. Again, look at that. Legs are all over. Come on, tidy your legs up. If I wasn't on air now, I would be faffing and faffing and faffing. I know exactly what I'm like. Let's just go with that. Hey, should we just trim that leg a little bit? There we go. It's not too bad. There you can see we've added dimension to that already. And then what we're going to do, quite simply, is I'm just going to grab a piece of scrap card from under here, if I have any. I've got a smaller piece. Let's just see what I've got going on a smaller piece. There we go. And I am just going to grab my Eureka, and we're going to stamp out the word smile, and we're going to create our own embellishment here. And you don't, this is just to show you that sometimes you do not have to have all the posh fancy things that I create them as well, stamps and dies. You don't have to have everything. As much as we do love everything, you know, people are on budgets and don't have to have everything. So let's just show you an alternative way here. So just going to stamp this smile on here in black. So this is just a piece of scrap card if you are crafting along at home. I'm just going to stamp this one out in black. And just dry that one off. Yvonne's got a stamp today. Well done, Yvonne. Be able to catch up. Everyone is well today. The sun is shining, so we're all good today. Swap the Eureka out for our cutter. Don't forget, Sue, you can pause me and you can rewind me, and the videos do stay on YouTube, sweetheart. Don't stress yourself out, because there's nothing the worse if you can't keep up. It is difficult. So I'm just trimming this one right down, so I just have the word smile on there like so. Can we see that there? There we go. Nothing fancy at all. So I'm just going to grab my scissors here, and if you are a OCD crafter who does measure and likes precise lines, then you will have to measure and work it out, but I don't. I go by eye. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my scissors here, and I'm just going to make this into a tag shape. So I'm just going to trim off that corner there, like so. And I'm just going to do the same on the other side. So I've created myself a little bit of a tag. See that? And if you're anything like me and you don't quite get it right or lined up, and you keep going and going and going, you end up with something like a love art left rather than a tag. Because you keep cutting and cutting and cutting. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off the end of here because it's a little bit long. Like so. Can you see that there? Let me grab a pad. Another pad. So this is probably the most basic card we have ever made, but I have had some emails, not emails asking me to simplify things, because that's crazy, but lovely people saying, could you do a card in black and white, or could you do a one layer card rather than a 3-layer card? So I try and make sure we get everybody accommodated for, should we say. So this is where you can incorporate some colour if you want to. You can distress around this tag so it's elevated from the rest of your image if you want to. I am going to leave it white though. You could mount it onto some black if you wanted to, but I literally am going to leave it white, and I am not going to stick it on yet because I don't know whereabouts it's going to go. So let's grab our topper we've created. So this is literally white cardstock, matte and lead onto some gold cardstock and stamped in black, and we've added a little bit of texture with that twine. So I'm absolutely certain you can all do this. So when you come to do your top folding note card, I always go higher at the top of my card. If that makes any sense at all, I always go as high as I can, leaving that pretty border at the top. I'm sorry, I'm going to just lean over and just make sure it's straight. Oh, look at that, my tag stuck to my hair. I tell you, we're having fun today. Stick that down. So you can see there. You can see there, look. So, and it's good to have blank space. Don't now think, oh, I've got to pop a butterfly on there. You're all laughing at me now, aren't you? It's nothing new, hey? And then this lovely smile tag, I'm going to pop underneath this bow here. And I'm going to pop another bow on top so it hides. Let's just move this across a little bit. There we go. So you can still see this bit of twine under here. Can we see here? Still try and move it over a bit. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add one more twine bow to the top of that. If you've got a hole punch, you could actually make it into a hole punch, if that makes any sense at all. So it does actually look like a tag. So let's just get this one too. Your twine might be thicker at home. You might not need the second bow. There we go, that's way better. And I'm just going to grab I'm just doing it with my tape pen, but you could obviously absolutely do it with your glue. It's just, I'm doing it for speed. Now just stick this one direct on top, so we've got a bit of a fluffy bow. That's what you want to call it. There we go. And then just to finish it and draw your eye better into the image, let's see if we just have some gold gems. Might have to, let's go with these ones. These ones are quite pretty, aren't they? And I'm just going to take 3. And I'm just going to do 3 from left. From left to right, just to finish that card. There we go. Don't know if you can see those sparkles, but it just finishes it beautifully. So there we go. 2 completely different cards today. No painting. We didn't do any we did a little bit of painting on the blue one, didn't we? Love this card too. Black and white. But you could add a bright red poppy to the swing if you wanted to, couldn't you? So that's that one. You can't see the sparkle. Oh, yeah, you can see the sparkles at the bottom there. And then we have our lovely blue one there. So there we go. Something a little bit different today. I say something a little bit different today. It's not really that different. It's just using your stamps and your inks in just a different format. That's all it is. So again, this one would look beautiful in pinks and greys, and this one would look equally as beautiful in grey, you know, on a grey top folding note card or a grey coloured piece of cardstock. There are no rules, and I do love to see what you're all making, I really do, and how you all chop up and change the colour. And some of you actually put, well, I didn't know where this was going, and the results are like, crikey, I'd have spent ages trying to get that result. So, you know, these things are sent to triers and they do work, which is great. So we get some unique looking cards. The great thing is you never have 2 cards looking the same, do you, when you change the ink? So I'm so pleased you like that one. Give it a go, let me know. I am back on TV Creating Craft Peterborough tomorrow at 9:45, and then I'm back in studio on Saturday at 3 p.m. and we'll do something different. I'll dig out my stash and see what we haven't looked at for a while, and we'll revisit and try some new techniques. Okay, so whatever you're doing, have a lovely afternoon in the sunshine, enjoy your evening meal, and I will see you all tomorrow morning at 9:45. See you all later, everyone. Bye.